We all know the normal price of a video game is $60. It has been out for a while now. I think ever since the 90s or even 80s. Every time a new game came out that you wanted, you knew you were spending a whole $60 if you wanted it at launch. I rarely spend this much for a game nowadays, especially with games like Cyberpunk that aren't even finished at launch, when I can wait a couple months and get it half off with all the issues fixed. Only time I spend this much is when I'm really hit for a game, and I know it's something that I really like, or if it's a Nintendo game, because those things never go on sale, like seriously. But even then, I might end up disappointed because of how much I end up paying. This is why I barely play games at launch nowadays. I hate missing out on talking to others about the newest games, but I simply can't afford to spend that much on a game every other week. And now games will be $70 with the PS5 and Xbox Series X. So of course I'll wait for a video game sale or price cut. Every time one of these would come around, I knew I was spending close to $100 on games. I felt so good thinking about how much money I was saving on games with the amount I was getting, only to put them on my backlog and keep playing Animal Crossing or something. I used to think I would be missing out if I didn't buy games, but these come around so often, it doesn't even matter. This is still the main occasion I buy games though. I can still save money, but I'm not in a rush to spend a ton of money when a Steam sale comes along anymore. Then there's a price cut. Usually games get a price cut 6 months after it's been released or so. Unless you're Black Ops 3 on Steam, seriously, I'm just trying to play some custom zombies with my friends. The price cut is great because it gives games more attention after they are released and way more people buy them since they are cheaper. There is also no false time limit with the sales because usually price cuts are permanent. So a price cut then a sale on a game is great. So which games are you willing to spend how much on? This is the main thing I want to talk about. To me, it's crazy that a new NBA game comes out every year with no new major features and people still pay the same $60 for it, and now $70, and then spend more on virtual currency. Seriously, this just baffles me. When there are games like Minecraft, Stardew Valley, The Witcher 3, and more that you can easily play for hundreds of hours, or maybe even forever, that you can all get for less than $25. Which is why I've been stuck playing older games rather than newer ones. They're cheaper and usually get a lot more playtime out of them. I've been stuck behind all the games coming out year after year. Hell, the console I play the most on right now is the PS2. I just find it crazy. I think people are just willing to spend $60 to stay in the loop with all the newest games. I mean, I don't blame them. I know how it can feel when you feel like you are missing out, and the game publishers know this, so that's why games are increasing in value. I know that's not the only reason, but it definitely is one of the reasons, since they know people will buy it no matter what. I mean, I have no problem with this as the price to make games goes up, but they need to keep microtransactions out of the games for good, which will probably not happen. Now this brings up another subject that I've thought about. Is a game worth more if it's going to give you more playtime than others? Now initially, yes. Why pay $60 for a game for 10 hours of playtime when you can spend the same amount and get 100 hours of playtime? Well yeah, I'd rather get a lot more playtime with some games, but most of the time a 10-hour game is all I really need. And the shorter games usually leave me a lot more satisfied with what I played and don't make me feel like I wasted my time. Longer games sometimes can have padding just to make them feel longer, which is the worst because they're literally just wasting my time. And some people might not even want to spend that much time on a single game. They either don't have the time or rather experience more games. And it's not fair to a developer that makes the shorter games, when I'm sure every developer tries their hardest on whatever type of game they make. So it's not fair to cut their wages depending on the length of the game, so it really just comes down to the player on what they want to play. I know I used to never want to buy a game if it's not going to give me the most bang for my buck, but now I just want to play whatever looks interesting. Which, since I'm playing a lot of PS2 games recently, I've had to only buy used games, which brings up to a whole new world of gaming prices, used retro games. I can make a whole video on this really, so I'm going to keep it brief. Of course, since these games are used, prices fluctuate a lot more. I swear games are either extremely expensive or like $20, no in between. But with the rise of sites like price charting and eBay, it comes harder and harder to get a good deal. There's always a garage sales and flea markets that I occasionally find a good deal, but almost rarely. I always see videos of people buying things for dirt cheap, but I've had almost no luck. Then there's eBay, that is reliable, but you never know what you're really getting. There's also retro video game stores. They either overprice their games and want like $20 above market just because they have them in person, or they hit the perfect balance. But there is literally no retro video game stores near me, so I'll just stick with eBay or flea markets. The next category is prices of digital games. Digital games are usually cheaper and go on sale more often since there is no manufacturing cost. I used to be digital only, but now I like buying most of my games physical. And one of the reasons I used to be exclusively digital is because of how cheap some games were. Digital games go on sale far more often than physical games. Then you don't have to worry about shipping costs if you're buying online. Steam always has the games on sale on the front page, and they notify you when a game on your wishlist goes on sale. So it's easy to get the best deals on games you want. Then there's free digital games. Valorant and Fortnite are the best examples that you don't even need to spend money to enjoy some games. I know Fortnite isn't that popular anymore, but you cannot deny it's one of the best free games out there. And the owner of Fortnite, Epic Games, gives out a ton of free games on their store, like Borderlands and GTA 5. So getting great games can be completely free. What also comes with digital games are subscription services like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now. Xbox Game Pass is actually such a good deal. I think your first 3 months are only $1, and from there is $10 a month. And you get a ton of games, including brand new games the day they come out. If you're gaming on a budget, this is a great way to get into so many games at such a cheap price. The only problem to me is that since it's a subscription service, you don't actually own the games, which is the only reason I'd probably never pay for it. There's just something about video games that makes me want to own them rather than a movie that I don't mind streaming. Well, that basically does it for a random talk about video game prices. Or you can pirate all your games. I mean, I'm not gonna stop you.